everybody, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this video. Thank you so much for stopping by. I have a Dazzled or Disappointed for you today on the new Dominique Cosmetics Rustic Glam eyeshadow palette. I've got a whole lot to go over with you, thoughts, swatches, a demo, all that good stuff. But before we get into that, I just want to ask that you would consider subscribing if you are new to my channel. I sure hope this isn't the first and last time that I see you here on this channel. Also, if you find that by the end of the video this has been helpful or entertaining, whatever the case may be, I hope you'll consider giving it a thumbs up. That really helps me out. And I think at this point, it's time to get into this review. Let's go. Alright guys, so if you are familiar with my reviews, then you know that I'm going to take you first into the Sephora website just to give you details of the palette in case, you know, maybe there's something you didn't know or maybe you don't even know about this palette, but just some stuff to help, you know, this way you don't have to go hunt down the information. It is $44. It is a 12 pan eyeshadow palette, and it does come with 12 pans at 0.5 ounces or 1.4 grams, and description says it's a day to night 12 pan eyeshadow palette to help you create a variety of looks from neutral smoked out to fierce and glam. It's cruelty free and it's free of a lot of parabens and sulfates and stuff like that, which is nice. I know cruelty free is highly important to a lot of y'all, as it is for me. I love seeing when a brand is cruelty-free. And it says, paint every memorable summer moment. Rustic Glam eyeshadow palette features an array of eye-catching colors in matte, shimmer, and metallic finishes. So that being said, I think we've gone over all of those details. Also, the palette is made in the USA. I like how on the back of the package it says it's distributed by Kristen Dominique Inc., Texas. So I'm born and raised Texas, and so I love seeing my state represented on something like this. So let's go into the packaging. So you have the sleeve as you do with all her other palettes. This is consistent. I have purchased all her palettes up to this point. The only one so far, minus this one that I won't tell you how I feel about it yet, but the Lemonade palette is the only one from her previous palettes that I was not a fan of. However, I do think she has some of the best customer service out there. Soon after the release of the Lemonade palette, when a lot of people were saying it just wasn't the same formula as her Latte palette, literally an email went out saying, if you ordered the palette, you will get a replacement. We're reformulating, that kind of thing. Just very proactive, very nice. Their customer service has always been very kind. And so in size, though, this is very much, or it's pretty much identical in size to the Berries and Cream palette, which if you own that one, you know that one to be bigger in size than her normal ones, so, or her prior to. So here's the sleeve. I love the blue. It's a very rich blue. On the back, you just have a little diagram of the palette. By the way, I'm not wearing my rings just because today is super casual day. Can you tell? I literally was on the couch watching TV. I've been overwhelmed with just so much to do that I even debated filming this. I was like, oh gosh, I just want to relax. But that's what's going on with the casual attire. No rings, no, you know, I'm surprised I'm still wearing my earrings. Total side note. Anyways, and then you've got the ingredients on the back, again, where it's made, that kind of thing. So if you hear the dog drinking water back there, that's what's going on. Seems a little loud to me. I know when I get to editing, I'll be like, oh my gosh. Okay, here's the packaging. It really is pretty. It's very, I don't know if the word is bohemian. Is that the right word? I don't know. There's something about this that's very unique. It's very pretty. I like the blue ombre. Obviously, you know, it kind of goes in theme with the palette. On the back, it just has that same pattern and then just has the website, stuff like that. So let's open this bad boy up. You do get a mirror on the inside cover. It doesn't span the whole front cover, but I like the design. It's really, really pretty. And then you've got your 12 pans of product. So here is what they look like. Let me bring you in a little bit closer so that you can see what these look like. In case you haven't seen them in store already, I have seen these palettes at my local store, so I do know that they do carry them in store in case you're wanting to feel out those waters before taking a plunge on ordering online. But we have a lot to go through to know if you're going to even want to go swatch it in store. So let me go ahead and grab the swatches. We'll go into that, we'll go into the demo, and then at the end we'll go into my final thoughts. I'll be right back with those swatches. First four are Fringe, Evil Eye, Free Spirit, and Cactus. Next up, we've got Dreamcatcher, Wildflower, Suede, and Bohemian. Speaking of which, I feel like that's just the word I used on the cover. Totally did not remember that was a shade name, so I guess that is what that style is called. Last up, we've got Desert Queen, Wanderlust, Moonchild, and Gypsy. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of the swatches. Now it's time for the demo so that you can see how I got this look right here. Literally, it took me, I don't know, 7 minutes, maybe at most. I might even be overestimating that. So I hope you also find it easy to follow, something that you can implement, or if you own this palette, something that gives you inspiration. So let's go ahead and get into that segment of this video. I am going to start off with the shade Free Spirit and a blending brush and just going to lay this all over the lid to set my primer. And then going in with the shade Wildflower, just placing this in my crease. It suits my skin tone so well and just looks lovely in the crease. Going in with a pencil brush and the shade Moonchild. I'm doing this because this shade builds up very quickly. It's incredibly pigmented and it can look messy very quickly. So I'm just drawing this into my crease, adding just a little bit more for desired intensity, and then I'm going to go in with a clean brush just to kind of blend it out and take away those harsh lines. Next, I'm going back into the shade Wildflower. I'm going to buff this back into my crease just so that, again, I help diffuse some of that Moonchild shade. I am going to go in with a wet brush and the shade Gypsy. My preferred method for these types of standout shades in this palette is a wet brush as opposed to using my finger. And now I'm going to go back into the shade Moonchild, this time with a short blending brush, and I'm going to add this to the outer portion of my lid just to smoke out the look a little bit. Now going in with a clean brush, just again diffusing those edges so it looks a little bit neater. And now it's time to go in with the shade Wanderlust. This is one of my favorites, and I'm just going to place this on the inner corner, or the inner tear duct? I don't know, whatever it's called. And then going in with a liner brush for more precision, in with that same Wanderlust shade and taking it up with the inner portion of my lid. Now I'm going to go in with the shade Cactus. This is going to be the shade I use on my lower lash line. And that's it. That wraps up this look. Alright my friends, I hope you found that helpful. I hope you found that quick and easy. If you are anything like me, then quick and easy is the best, just because we lead such busy lives that spending, come on, let's be real, spending, 30 to 45 minutes just on our eyes isn't realistic. Even though I love to do that, I feel like it's my therapy, but I save that for days in which, I have the time to do that. But that being said, it's time to go into the actual review or my thoughts on this palette. So first off, you do get 7 mattes. 8 if you count this blue one that has the sparkly glitter. This is kind of one of those like from Too Faced where if you don't put a tacky base, your glitter will fall. So I technically say that's a matte. I would call it 8 matte shades, but I just want to be upfront with you that that is the type of matte that is. So 7 to 8 mattes depending how you look at it. So let's start off with those as I usually do. I find these mattes to be the most consistent as the ones in her first palette, the Latte palette. And that's the palette that everyone fell in love with. That's the palette that I think really just got people intrigued with the brand. And there have been a few hit or misses here or there. I very much liked her Berries and Cream palette. I've already told you what I felt about the Lemonade palette, and I feel these mattes are closest to the Latte palette. They are insanely soft and buttery. They're very, very buildable, just easy to blend, and they're very, in my opinion, unique. There's maybe not all of them, but a couple of them are pretty unique. So let's start off with Free Spirit. This doesn't look like the most exciting shade in the world, and I'm not really one to lay down like a white or a cream shade over top of my eyeshadow primer, but for some reason this shade just does it for me. This shade makes me want to lay it down over top of my eyeshadow primer even if I'm not using this palette. There's something about it that's just very creamy. It's very creamy in color. It's creamy to the touch, so it just glides on my eye, and I have found that other shades just go on so nicely over top of it, and there has never been like a shade like that to just lay over top of either concealer or eyeshadow primer that has ever done that to me before. So that was definitely a win in my book. The shade Wildflower. So as she was marketing this, this was already like very intriguing to me as far as the color. I love pinks and baby pinks. I love using them on my eye, especially in my crease. They just tend to go with my skin tone very nicely. But she had also said that this one works as a blush, and I have found that this is such a complimentary shade for my skin tone. I am a light to light medium depending on what brand, what foundation, and this has just been so good to pull double duty as both a blush and an eyeshadow. I love putting this shade in the crease, and you may think like, oh, it's just a pink. No, there's something about it that doesn't, it's not just a pink, that I, again, find it to be pretty unique to this palette. It's almost like a pink with a little bit of peach salmon type of tones. It's really pretty. It's feminine, it's girly, and I don't have to go in 20 times to build up the pigment. Literally with one layer, I'm good. I've been doing 2 just because I like to make it extra rich. That one I find to be highly unique. Cactus. It's a little bit weird because it's like a dingy type of green, but something about it, again, is unique. I don't have really anything like this in my collection. I think the closest I have to something like this is in Subculture, but we know how a lot of people didn't like that palette. This shade is highly unique. Again, what I'm wearing on the lower lash line, and it does end up, it can look muddy, but used the right way, used like in a clean way without going too overboard. It's just unique, it's pretty. And then as far as the mattes, the only other one I'm going to take you into is Evil Eye. I don't really like that term, but anyways. There's something about this blue that's very rich. You would look at it in the pan, you'd be like, okay, it's just another blue. No, there's something about it that just has a pop when you put it on, when you swatch it. Like, I find that these shades just transfer from the pan to my eye. So the mattes, I'm just very happy with, very pleased with. I don't know, I was really pleased with the mattes from that Melt palette as well. Those are the ones I preferred more than the Shimmer Metallic. So what's going on here? Having a Freaky Friday moment. Let's go on to the other shades, like the standout shades. So I'm going to go in with Moonchild. So it looks like a very dark blue, and actually I think that's what it's meant to be. The shimmer is like so much navy that it makes it look blue, but in reality it comes across as black. But this is so rich and pigmented. You saw me put this in the crease, and I did not need much to go in with my pencil brush. I went in with a very little bit, and you have to go in with a little bit or it's just too much and it gets all over the place because it's highly pigmented. So I like placing this where I know I'm going to need it. That's why I just lightly stamped it on the end as well of my eyelid and just blended it out. Very rich, and I would highly suggest using a glitter glue or some kind of tacky base if you really want that blue sparkle to stay and stand out. But that's the deal with that. Now let's go into the other metallics. So you've got Bohemian, Wanderlust, and Gypsy. I think Bohemian is beautiful. I love how it goes on the lid. I won't say that's the most unique shade. I probably have a good 4 or 5 of this similar type of shade. When you get to Wanderlust and Gypsy, these 2 shades are something else. I mean, there is nothing in my collection that is, I think, even remotely similar to those shades. Something about Wanderlust is so pretty in that it's got that, it's like a, how can I put it? It's like a green, but it's kind of like an olive green. I don't even know, but it's not a punch of olive green. Almost to where you can kind of mistake it for like a little bit of a gold, but no, it's got that green hue. It is so unique, so pretty, easy to blend, easy to build up. And then Gypsy, you guys saw me put this on my lid, and I have been really, like, the DC is almost completely rubbed off, the little emblem of my Panda product, because I have been putting this one to use so much. I love it. It's very rich. It's a purple tone, but it's like an eggplant purple tone. I don't know. Again, something about it, just unique to my collection. The last thing I'm going to say about these, about the metallics, is that you guys know I love using my finger to go in onto my lid. And that's no exception with these. I do like using my finger. However, even more than that with this formula, I like going in with a wet brush. Who knew? I find that even with the lemonade palette, even with the latte palette, when I go in with my finger, they do start to develop a little bit of hard pan. I think that's just the formula. Even though it has, my Wonderlust has started developing some hard pan, I have not found that that has like hindered the performance or the intensity of the shade. It's just in the pan, you can tell there's a little bit of hard pan. I have that same problem with my latte palette. And so I have found truly that the best way to go in with these to pack the most punch is with a wet brush. They stand up very well to a wet brush. I haven't had any issues with that. So as far as intensity purposes, building it up, that is the method I like to use best with this. Now, I'm going to give you my final thought that may surprise you a little bit, I don't know, and that is, so one, this is not going to surprise you probably. I'm dazzled by this palette based on everything I said. You may have already figured that out. This palette is, to me, sensational. But two, this is what's going to probably surprise you a little bit, is that this is probably one of my top 3 palettes this year so far. There are unique shades in here. It's just, I'm tired of the same old, same old. I like a little bit of unique to add something to my collection that I don't already have. And granted, yes, I'm a sucker for packaging. I love getting involved in all the new stuff, but at the same time, it's a lot of money to be paying for the same stuff over and over, just a different cover, you know, from a different brand, that kind of thing. So whenever something comes out that one, performs incredibly, and two, has some standout things that are out of the ordinary, not in my collection, that is such a win for me. So the fact that this was $44, I actually had a gift card, so that was even better, but the fact that it was $44 for all of these pans of product, the packaging is super sturdy, super hefty. This would withstand travel very, very well. And the fact that there are so many unique shades, I say so many. I mean, the fact that there's even 4 or 5, that to me is a lot, because typically maybe there'll be one that I'm like, wow, this is super amazing and I kind of don't have anything like it. No, there is a handful in this palette and I love it. I am so dazzled. Definitely one of my favorites for 2019 thus far, and my favorite from Dominique Cosmetics as of yet, or as of now, however you say it. So favorite of her palettes. She just really knocked it out of the park with this one, and I'm so happy that the formula feels so similar to the latte palette. All right, my friends, again, I hope you found this helpful, entertaining, you know, easy to follow, and again, most of all, helpful if you're intrigued or interested by this palette. Before I let you go, I just want to give you a verse of the day, just in an effort to encourage you, in an effort to tell you that Jesus loves you. I feel like we need that encouragement on a daily basis. With so much negativity and chaos in the world, I know I need it on a daily basis. And so if anything, you know, if you want to click off right here and now, I completely understand. I never want to force anything down your throat or push anything on you. This is just, again, just to encourage you and tell you that I love you and that Jesus loves you. And today's comes from Psalm 103, and it says, "Know that the Lord is God. It is He who made us, and we are His. We are His people, the sheep of His pasture." All right, my friends, I hope you're having a wonderful day. It was so good to see each and every one of you today. Okay, guys, see you in the next one. Take care. I love each and every one of you. Bye.